going on, guys? Welcome to this video tutorial. In this video tutorial we are going to talk about array. Okay, we'll talk about array. We talk about the properties we have in array. We talk about the methods we have in array, and finally we talk about the associative array. Okay, let's kickstart. First, let me just create a file. I'll call it array array1.html. Okay, let me just close other files so that I'll have only this file here. Okay, what is an array? Okay, array is one way we store a multiple value in a one variable. Okay, one way we store a multiple value in a one variable. For example, let me say you have a variable, okay, HTML version 5 tag. Okay, then I write my script here. Okay, let me say you have a variable like this. Let me say person 1. Okay, we say person 1 is maybe James. Okay, we have another variable person 2. Okay, let me say person 2 is Peter. Okay, person 3, let me say is Paul. Okay, these are 3 variables carrying names. Okay, what about you want to create a one variable that will hold all these names in one variable? Let me say maybe you want to create something like variable people is equals to, it will store James and store Peter and store Paul. Okay, what about if you want to create a single variable to hold these multiple values? That's where arrays comes in. Sometimes somebody might want to ask, why do I even need this instead of this? Okay, there are 2 reasons why you need to learn array. One is that learning array makes your code more simpler and easier. You see here, I can write only one line of code to hold multiple values in one single variable. Okay, and also when you're pulling the data from a database, it comes in array. Okay, it comes in array where you store it in a single variable and start accessing it. Okay, that's how we do with array. Okay, like I said, array, we use it to store multiple values. Okay, let me write it, multiple values in a single variable. Okay, instead of writing a lot of variables and storing it individually, you can just use array to do this. Okay, now since you understand what array is, how do we handle array? Okay, assuming I want to create a variable that will store the example we use above. Maybe I want one variable that will store Peter, Paul, name of persons, right? Paul, James, and all of that. Okay, that calls for array. Okay, how do I do this in JavaScript? In JavaScript, if I want to do something like this, I have to write variable. Okay, let me say the name of the variable is people. I have to do something like this, new array. Okay, in new array, I start putting in the values. Okay, let me say the first one is Peter. Okay, the second one is Paul. Okay, the third one is James. Okay, and the last one is let me say Mike. Okay, and with semicolon. Alright, okay, now I have created a variable that stores a whole number of multiple values. Okay, You might ask, now we have stored this, how do we access these arrays? Okay, since I have created this, I can access only this, or access this, or access this, or access this. Okay, let me just create two simple scenarios here so that we understand this better. Okay, let me say I have this for person 1 is equals to Peter, right? Okay, let me say the person 2 is Paul. Okay, and person 3 is James. Okay, we are very familiar with this, right? If I want to, anytime I want to display Peter, I have to call this variable, right? Anytime I want to display Paul, I have to call this variable. Anytime I want to display James, I have to call this variable, right? But here now, we have written a one single line of code where we store all these multiple values in one variable. How do we call Peter now? How do we call Paul? How do we call James? How do we call Mark? Okay, this is exactly what we are going to learn. So when I'm saying how do we access, we are talking about something similar like this. Okay, let me remove this. But before we talk about that, I want us to display this array. Let's see how JavaScript view it. It will enable us to understand what I'm about to explain. Okay, let me say document.write. Okay. What I want to do is to display this array, all of them, which is people. Okay, document.write people. Okay, let me run this code. Open in File Explorer. Okay, I double click on it. Okay, it's loading. Okay, you see nothing is showing here. If I view the source code, see that actually that's the code, but nothing is showing here. Yes. Okay, array doesn't show like that. When we want to display array, okay, we call it based on the number of index. Okay, array usually count from 0. Okay, in programming we count from 0. Okay, if I want to display Peter, I have to call it this way, 0. Okay, because Peter is the first one, so people 0 like this, I am calling Peter. Okay, if I want to call Paul, I have to call it like this, 1. This is for Paul. This one is 2. Is for James. 3 is for Mark. If I continue to add more values to this array, I continue to increase it here to call that value. Okay, so whenever I want to call Peter, I have to write 0. Okay, in this people variable. Remember, the variable is people. Okay, now when I say 1 here, I'm calling this because we count from 0. Okay, let's just test this out. Okay, coming back to document.write, I call this 0. Okay, what I'm trying to achieve here now is to call Peter. Okay, let me test this code again. So I refresh now. Oh, something is wrong somewhere. It's not displaying. Okay, I think the problem is from this. JavaScript is case sensitive. So whenever you want to create an array, use capital letter like this. Variable people is equals to new array. Make sure that it is in capital letter like this. If you write it in small letter, there will be an error. Okay, let me refresh this. Okay, you see we have Peter. Okay, let me just display all this array. Assuming I want to display all this array, I just write people without putting any index. Okay, just this variable here. Let's see what we have. Okay, you see all the arrays here. I just displayed all of them: Peter, Paul, James, and Mike. Okay, if I want to access only Peter, like I said before, we do something like this: 0. Okay, let me display. See, the first one will show, which is Peter. What about if I want to display Mike? Okay, I will say 0, 1, 2, 3. So Mike is 3 because we count from 0. Once I put 3, if I refresh this, okay, you see we have Mike. Okay, this is how we calculate array. Okay, what about if I want to make sentences with this? Maybe let me say I want to write Peter is coming to see Paul and James. Okay, Peter is coming to see Paul and James. I know that Peter is 0. Okay, I can say like this, Peter 0. Okay, plus is coming to see, okay, space, okay, write Paul, okay, Paul, which is 2, okay, my plus and my space, okay, another plus here, okay, we have people again, we say Paul and James, okay, James is 2, whereby Paul is 1, okay, plus have to be here. Okay, here says Peter, which is 0, is coming to see, okay, Paul, which is 1, and James, which is 2. Okay, let's run this code. Okay, you see what we have. Peter is coming to see Paul and James. Okay, this is how we'll access array whenever we created array. You see that this is very simple. You create a single variable, pop in your data or your values inside it, then you use this like this to access any of the value in this array instead of writing a whole chunk of variables. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, we have tried to explain what is array and how to access array. Now we want to move to the array properties. Okay, the array properties. Okay, what do we mean when we talk about the array properties? Okay, let me remove this, continue with this array I have here. Okay, these array properties, just like we have learned in OOP, is an inbuilt features that any array has. Okay, one of these property is known as length. Okay, whenever I says length, let me say document dot write. Okay, let me say people dot length. Okay, remember the variable for our array is people. Okay, whenever I say people dot length, I am trying to tell you the length of this array, a kind of number of data in this array. Okay, how many number do we have? How many number of data do we have in this array? This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Okay, let's check and see what we have. Okay, it says undefined. Think something is wrong somewhere. Okay, I don't think this length is correct. Okay, you see people dot length. Okay, you see we have 4. Now notice the difference. Whenever we are counting the index of this array, we count from 0. Okay, whenever you want to display, this comes with 0, just like we did something like this. Okay, sometimes this confuse people. Okay, this 0 is for accessing this. We count from 0 whenever we want access. But for the length doesn't count from 0. Okay, length tells you the number of values we have in this array. Okay, let me remove this. Let me add other value, more value in this array. Let me say I just add this. Okay, I just add this. We now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values in this array. So the length of this array people supposed to be 6. Okay, let me test it again. Okay, you see we have 6. Okay, let me zoom it for those who are not seeing it clearly. Okay, we have 6. Okay, this is the property we have in array. The property of length tells us the number of array we have. Okay, the reason why this is good is, for instance, maybe we are pulling a data from a database. Okay, you know, in database you have to store this in array, keeping all the, maybe you are pulling the names from the database. It will be keeping all the names in array. When you use .length now, it now helps you to tell you the number of arrays you have. Or if you want to calculate the total number of let me say names in that database, when you use .length, it will now show you the total number of values in that array. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, we have another one known as Concat. Okay, this Concat is us trying to join on. Actually, this Concat is a method. Okay, it's a method not an array. Okay, it's a method. Okay, we only have this. There are a whole lot of other properties we have in array. Okay, let me see if this Visual Studio will help me sort them out. Okay, this pop, push, reverse, sort, these ones are methods. Okay, this is property. Hover over this, you see this is method. Okay, you see almost every other thing here is method except that property length. Okay, except that length, which is a property. Okay, so that's it for the property, guys. Let's move into method in our next video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.